chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
You're listening to Where You Live with Gene Sullivan.
Welcome back. This is Where You Live. I'm Gene Sullivan, broadcasting from the True North Painting Studios. This show is also brought to you by American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency, and Extreme Exteriors. Before we get back into our interview with James Dupre, with what's happening in eminent domain and them wanting to, the city of Philadelphia, taking away his property, I want to just remind all our listeners, we've got a free gift for you. We put together a bi-monthly newsletter called What's New. A lot of the topics that you hear on our show, we talk about in that newsletter. We also cover things in further detail. It's yours free for the asking. All you need to do is give us a call during the week at New Concepts at 952-922-2500. Ask for Lori. She'll make sure that you start receiving your copy either electronically or by mail. Well, again, I want to welcome back to the studios James Dupre. And James, sorry for cutting you off. We're coming up to kind of a hard break there, and I wanted to make sure that we gave you enough time to talk about how the city of Philadelphia came up with this price, which came to be quite a low-ball offer. Tell our listeners again what it is that they did.
Well, what really threw me into a mass depression is once I realized how they go about giving the homeowner a fair market value. As I was saying earlier, it was a drive-by appraisal. They brought in two appraisers. One appraiser, the first thing he said to me in private when nobody was looking was, "I've never seen anything like this." After looking at the contents and all the 5 bathrooms and the 3 living quarters and the 10 studio spaces, they offered me an additional $40,000.
Well, let me point out just a couple of things, because I've been in real estate for a number of years, James. They did, you said, a drive-by. In realtor lingo, we refer to that as a quote-unquote windshield appraisal, where you don't even bother to get out of the car to take a look at the value. And I can tell you that in real estate, in the real estate industry, a realtor who gives a windshield appraisal, that's nowhere given the same credibility or credence that a full-blown appraiser puts through the appraisal process in comparing properties. The key here is something that you said. The appraiser told you, "I've never seen anything like this in my life."
The problem they have with me is there's no comps for this building.
Exactly.
There's no comparable properties. And when you find comparable properties to the one I have, they start anywhere from 1.6 to upwards of $5 million.
But you don't have an appraisal even to this day, do you?
The city of Philadelphia will not relinquish what their 2 appraisers appraise my building at. My appraisal will cost me between $4,000 and $6,000 because it's a commercial mixed space.
So here you are. They're saying that it was worth. They said what, $600,000? Was that correct?
Yes, unfortunately, that's correct.
and they're not even bothering to tell you what the information that they're using to do as a comparison. But now you're in a position where you've got to spend a lot of time, you've got to spend a lot of money trying to prove them wrong. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. And what has happened is I fell into a massive depression because somebody stated to me it's not if we take your property. It's when we take your property. And the manner that they were dictating their information to me, it was no sweat equity. They could care less about my emotional stress, my business. They didn't recognize my business. They didn't understand the worth of my artwork and didn't value that at all. The fact that I have been in business as a professional artist with a gallery and studio spaces where I teach at over 20 years and 25 years in the city of Philadelphia, and just my professional accomplishments to the city of Philadelphia. So it really depressed me to no end. And then finally, what happened was my beautiful children came to bat and put it online. It's called DupreStudios.org, SaveDupreStudios.org, where you can go sign a petition. I think our petitions are up to about 2,800, and we've initially done a number of TV shows, radio shows, blogs, and I got support with the Institute of Justice, and they are actually doing the PR for this campaign to save Dupre Studios and return my deed.
And what's interesting through this, again, folks, listeners, all of this is happening, and the city doesn't even have anything specific where they can say, we're going to do this to the property, and here are the people that want to develop it. They don't have anything, do they, James?
No, and they will not. If they do, they're not making it public. And that is, I mean, as a homeowner, I'd like everybody to understand it's not just me. These laws that they're using here in Philadelphia they can obtain anybody's property for the good of the community, whatever that means. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But it's so debilitating. I'm not the only one here in Philadelphia. There's another. They seized 35 properties in Kensington. They took a man's 7 properties and his business. There's another guy in North Philadelphia. They seized his property. Yeah. But again, 2 years ago in Philadelphia, they seized 100 properties through eminent domain laws.
Yeah. I know. It is very egregious to think about the power and authority that's being exercised by local governments. I think I mentioned to you before the show here, we're dealing with the same thing too with a client of ours, with a commercial income property that they have, and the city wants to use it for a lift station and condemn one of the buildings, one of the 5 apartment buildings, when across the street they already own the land and could build something, but they don't want to use that. And so to me, what really is concerning me is that my understanding of the country we live in and the freedoms that we have and enjoy is that for government, the authority they have is a limited government, and they're limited by the consent of the people and the power that we give them. But I fear over a great number of years, just because of apathy, people don't stop and think about what is happening here until it happens to them.
Our public servants are to serve the people and not to exploit and abuse the population through these unfair and unjust laws that apply with eminent domain. I never thought in my my wildest dreams that this would be happening to me. And I don't think we realize the thought that somebody could come in and take your property and you have nothing to do about it, and then dictate to you what your life's work is worth, what your business is worth, and what you are worth. This building was the studio and the business of my dreams. And anybody that comes into this building, they're amazed with what I've accomplished. And for them to come and take it away from me in the manner that they've done it, I will not sit by and allow this to happen. Unfortunately, other members in this community aren't artists and don't have the means. But artists have traditionally gone into these communities. And, I mean, somebody said to me, what makes you think your property is worth that? And I replied to them, history, Soho, NoHo, Greenwich Village. These were all artist communities that have flourished. And if you go down to Miami, Art Basel, the Wynwood section was a poor community that artists came in, and now that is one of the largest fairs in the country.
So tell me, we've got we're kind of closing up here on a segment, and before I let you go, if people want to become involved, what can we do here to help you out, James?
Once again, you can continue to sign our petitions at SaveDupreStudios.org. Those petitions go directly into the mayor's office here in Philadelphia and the councilperson, the councilwoman who this is her district that's serving me these papers for eminent domain.
Okay. Well, James, all the best to you. Good luck. We're going to be watching and hope that there's some justice here for you. Thanks for being on the show today.
Oh, thank you so much, Gene, and all the listeners.
Okay. Well, hey, folks, don't go away. We've got one more segment of Where You Live, but we'll be back after these messages.